They took our germs.
Took our germs.
They're making the frogs gay.
Somebody sent me a picture. Somebody sent me a picture from Blue's Clues where there were gay frogs in the background of a parade float for Pride.
Yeah.
And then a picture of Alex Jones like reacting to it, like pissed off.
I gotta ask: Are we live now?
Yeah,
we are.
Live? Right. So this is the excellent. So instead of the usual like sound and instead of the opening, we just have Alex Jones memes. We're doing good. This is
I mean, Alex Jones meme have a very specific place in all podcasts, and ours it happens to be right at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
An honored place of dishonor.
Also, I was feeling a bit nostalgic, so we're gonna open up with a light background of when I'm drinking whiskey.
Also, because let's just go into it. Let's go. I mean, we're gonna talk about this later, but I'm gonna restate. I said this on Twitter. I'm gonna restate it for anyone listening. Please use your Photoshop skills. Please replace Steve Buscemi's face with Kevin Smith for me. Please.
What, on this opening pre-roll meme?
Yes, on this meme. I desperately need this. I need to see "Greetings, fellow children," or "Greetings, fellow young people" with Kevin Smith's face.
Okay. All right, I'll see if I can't make that happen.
It in my life.
Why hasn't Moody done it already?
I only brought it up recently, and Moody is actually not feeling well. Otherwise, I'd have him in here. Be like, Moody, why haven't you done this yet?
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully Moody gets feeling better.
Because we're going to talk about that today, I'm assuming. We're going to talk about Kevin Smith's attempts to dissemble.
I mean, if you want, I don't know anything about it, but you can definitely talk about it and bring it up.
I mean, it's not really deep. Kevin Smith lied because he was hired to be the showrunner for the new He-Man show. Said, "Yo guys, I was totally always a He-Man fan." When in actuality, several years before, when he didn't have the He-Man show, he said, "I was never that into He-Man." And he said, "Oh, this is totally going to be a show about He-Man." But in actuality, it was about Teela, and he called the people who said it was a show about Teela liars. And now he's saying, well, it's about He-Man at the beginning, then it becomes about Teela, and maybe He-Man shows up later at the end.
But we also have to talk about the genius of the ad campaign, right? Because this is a shell game. This is a bait and switch of epic proportions. Literally baiting us to be mad about it, while at the same time knowing just how to apply the pressure to make people mouth-breathing idiots, right?
Right.
Because when the trailer came out, right?
How dare you?
It's curated information, right? It's very select images.
Mm-hmm.
Did you punt me? Or no, that was the spot. Yeah. I was like, did Church kick me in his outrage? It was very curated images, and it was against the backdrop of Bonnie Taylor's holding out for a hero, which ever since fucking Shrek seems to be the go-to thing. We're gonna use holding out for a hero to make Footloose.
We'll definitely talk about that, but in the meantime, hello everybody and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics, where I am your host, the Church of Failure. With me as always are my trusty co-host, RuneKnight, Larry Bernard, and of course, Ayrton McCartney. How are you boys doing this week?
Fantastic. I thought we were just going to open up with a talk about some Battlingus.
I have.
Oh my god!
Hold on. I'm streaming. Hold on to your assholes now from an actual computer.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Lies.
He's upgraded from the tin can with
Fucking
the string on it.
lies.
After 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, Ayrton McCartney is finally using an actual PC.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I have an important question.
Yeah.
Ayrton, is this yours, or did one of your friends loan this to you because they felt bad for you?
No, this is my ex's that I finally got cleaned up enough that it works well.
Okay. You
That's
got all the.
Sold.
Can you bump your input up a little bit?
Yes. Hold on.
Like you sound muted. It's not that you're really quiet. You just sound muted, if that makes sense. You're an audio guy. You probably know what that means.
Hold on.
Oh, that's a little bit better. But I mean, you just sound kind of flat.
there.
Am I wrong?
How's that?
Now you're a little bit loud, but you're not as muted as you were.
Okay. How about there?
You're good there for now. We'll tweak it in the off hours. We're not gonna make this the gospel of tech support. We should have done this before the show in hindsight, but
the gospel according to Stephen Hawking.
Oh God, no! The gospel according to Deepak, also known as Matt.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the gospel according to crippled Jesus. That'd be funny.
Oh yeah. So we got a slurry of topics that people want to talk about, most of which I know very little, if anything, about. So we've got Battlingus, we've got Kevin Smith and the He-Man show, and whatever inane shit Ayrton happens to bring up.
And of course, the Black Monday murders.
yeah, I got fucking nothing.
And the Black Monday murders.
We've got the Black Monday murders continuing
African
with our
American Monday murders.
Continuing with our
Juneteenth.
No. It's actually black in relation to like black magic because they worship Mammon. Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, the main character is
African American,
so it could actually be the black person.
Well, he hasn't been murdered yet because the book isn't done. Spoiler alert again. But let me get through the damn intro, please, you motherfuckers. This continues our June trend of covering Jonathan Hickman works. So I'll look to Joe and Ayrton.
A month of Hickman
to pick the next Hickman in flavored title. I'm gonna push heavy that we look at Secret Wars 2015. But
we were gonna do an all Secret Wars review.
Yeah, but not that. I think we're gonna do that for my birthday in August.
Okay.
Make a big show of it. Get some people on.
I will look at Hickman and I will think about something.
Okay.
I mean, this is obviously the price.
I kind of want to see what Ayrton would pick, because I think Ayrton would pick the worst Hickman book of all time that somehow had fish penis in it.
Well,
I'm gonna go out of my way to find the worst Hickman book, right? Like you realize this, right?
I accidentally stumbled into the best one, though.
I mean, Church, you're gonna say, bring me Hickman, right? And Ayrton's just gonna bring you something Hick Billy, like Moonshine Dr. Seuss with Down syndrome.
That sounds wonderful.
I'd read that. Yeah, I'd read that, especially if Hickman wrote it. I'd love to see what kind of stuff.
Hold up, Church. Don't you mean you would star as a character in that book?
Fuck you, Larry. So let's just start there with the Black Monday murders and work our way into the auxiliary shit.
I would like to start with this because I'm going to surprise everyone.
All right, so go ahead and surprise us, Rune. Start us off. Well, first off, Larry, hold on. Larry, you suggested the book. Give everybody a quick synopsis of what the Black Monday murders are while I get it pulled up.
Well, this brief synopsis is this is about secret societies that control all the global economy that worship Mammon, the demon of the earth, and about how there's a murder among these families that brings in the police and, reprisals, revenge. It's a classic story.
And it's all based around Wall Street, which is kind of interesting to me because, my wife and I have been following the AMC stock. The meme stock. Yeah. Don't go spilling my financial information on the internet. Thank you.
I had some, but I sold too early. I only made 15% off my initial investment.
How dare you,
folks? Church owns a commanding stock in macaroni and cheese.
That is correct. So it's based around Wall Street. It's classic Hickman. You can definitely see similarities between this and X-Men, this and Secret Wars, this and even God is Dead. Although
East of West, actually. I saw a lot of parallels between those two.
But,
Oh,
but
yeah.
what RuneKnight, you wanted to surprise us all?
Yep. I'm going to surprise everyone by saying, not only is this an okay book,
Oh God. Okay.
okay, but if you are getting into the world of darkness, if you're one of these people who's listening to us because you have made horrible life decisions and you like the gospel of darkness and you're like, hey, how can I get more of this flavor? How can I find out what this world tastes like so I can decide if I want more of it? Read this book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
This is solidly the right kind of combination of film noir and occultism with cosmic elements. It fulfills the niche of multiple supernatural types, including one that in the gospel we haven't touched on yet. These are what mages are like. And this is why we don't play mage. Mage is mechanically demanding,
I'll take your word
and
for
these
it.
are the results. Mages are assholes.
So, the first thing I want to say is that normally I wouldn't like this kind of art, but this kind of art is absolutely perfect for the tone and texture and flavor of this story.
Also, the book is. I'm still trying to get the book up. It's a very large file. I mean, completely legitimate copy that I have. Strenuously scanned in and perfectly photo edited so that it will show up on a computer monitor.
Well, while you're bringing it up, I will talk about an artistic element to back up what Larry's saying. I'm a fan of horror stuff, obviously, and though it makes my mom, grind her teeth a bit, and I think the guy himself is an asshole. I like Clive Barker's work. I read the books of Blood in high school. I finally saw Hellraiser a little bit after that. You have to watch it a couple of times to get it.
I enjoyed the initial Hellraisers that he was involved in. I did not enjoy the franchise as a whole, though.
But here's the thing: there is a book. There are a lot of Hellraiser related comics, but there's a book that is called The Scarlet Gospels. It's a companion piece, and it's
hey, they stole our bit. We should sue for copyright infringement, Church.
Okay, you pay.
They did first, though.
You pay for the lawyer.
The thing is that it's basically a expanding out world building tome as a selection of articles and treatises from in-world Hellraiser, right? And some of them have really great art. I can go dig it up if people really want to see. But the thing is that this book, sure, I'll go look when I shut up. This book here, Monday Murders, has for its chapter break, documentation and in-world paperwork that is thematically it's actually adding to the artistic expression by immersing you and making you feel like you're reading a secret, document, a transcript of what's gone on. How did we get here? It's all in the paperwork. An unspeakable amount of paperwork.
And it's appropriate, unlike most Hickman times he does this.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to interrupt. I pick Love is Love for our next one.
I mean, it is Pride Month, so I mean,
right.
That's
okay. So we already have a.
Love is Love is a 144-page graphic novel released in December 2016 by IDW in collaboration with DC Entertainment, with many characters appearing from other publishers and franchises with explicit permission in tribute to the victims of the Orlando nightclub shooting.
Oh boy. The thing in particular about this book, not whatever verbal diarrhea Ayrton just had. This book,
that was Wikipedia. Thank you very much.
Right, verbal diarrhea. Got it. The thing about this book is there are some segments that are not presented as like CIA documents or government documents or even
emails.
Pardon me.
Gesundheit.
But are actually presented like pages out of the Key of Solomon or some other
Mhm.
occultic text, and I have a Key of Solomon, so I recognize.
I'm
And it's
currently
like,
downloading Love is Love. I mean, I just ordered us all a copy from a legitimate comic retailer.
It looks like it really looks like a believable occultic system, which makes me think, because it's an image book, that if Hickman in fact wrote this throughout, he had the time and a lack of oversighting, direction pushing him toward
Well,
the deadline.
This
Get
was
it done.
this
Well,
was in
can I
2000.
just- can I
Hold
just
on,
wait-
real quick.
Just real
this
quick. All right.
okay? Go ahead. Hurry up.
Oh, I was just gonna say I hated these books. They were terrible.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll get to that.
well.
We'll get to that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Tell us more.
In 2013, Hickman was writing Fantastic Four, if I'm not mistaken, for Marvel. And he didn't have a whole lot of other projects because that was actually a pretty good moneymaker for him. He was pretty much demanding as high as you can get from Marvel at the time for his writing. But he also had time to not only write the Black Monday murders, but he was always ahead of schedule on the. I've done some rigorous research, and I'll get into why when I take my go. But I'm going to take my go last because I have some feelings about this book.
And being ahead of schedule at Image is very rare.
Well, it's creator owned, so of course it is. I mean, look at Ethan Van Sciver. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
What'd you say?
I'm sorry. You just started talking church, and I stopped paying attention. So that was important.
Go fuck yourself,
Well, no,
Joe.
I heard
Literally, take your dick, cut it off, and shove it up your own ass.
you said you're waiting for
Pride
the
Month,
5.
after all.
I heard you, Church. You said you're waiting for the 5-volume Cyberfrog omnibus book to come out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you talking about warts and all?
No, I'm talking about the omnibus of all the books that are currently in production right now.
What?
Isn't warts and all one of those?
Yeah.
Which is an omnibus of Cyberfrog
Yes.
of books that already existed. Something that should have been
Yes.
able to go to print as soon as the campaign was over. I'm sorry. Did I
Yes.
say something out loud? I'm not talking right now. Continue with what you were saying, Joe.
Are you having some kind of Tourette's, Church?
I guess I am. I guess the Alec Jones meme just apparently set me off. I woke up and chose violence today, like I do all days.
So anyway,
Turn in the Cyberfrog's gay.
anyway, Joe, what's your next big thing on this wonderful book?
No, my big thing is get off your dead ass and read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make your own determinations. It's solid.
All right.
So-
All right.
so
Larry, do you want to accede to Ayrton and let him get his bid in before you go off, because you did suggest
Sure.
the book.
Oh no, my bit's over.
Okay.
No, you didn't get into what you thought of the actual book, dickhead.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. It was okay. I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. The story premise was interesting. I'm getting tired of every single Hickman thing I've read in the past year having weird circular dotty symbols and like half of the book being just text.
Look, the
of, like,
motherfucker's got
random journals and shit.
look. The motherfucker's
get
got a
it.
boner
It's
for
his thing.
decoder rings. Okay?
Yes, I know. He ate way too many Cracker Jacks as a kid. I get it, but it's a little played out when it's an East of West. His X-Men reboot. Doesn't he have a hint to this in his Fantastic Four run too?
With
Yeah.
the Council of Reeds, yes.
Right.
But
So
what if all the
it's
dots are part of a single code that's across all of his books?
I will pimp slap you so hard through this computer.
Real quick,
No, I
Larry.
mean, it's
hold on,
fine
hold
at
on,
first,
Ayrton.
I'm kind of tired.
Hold for just a second.
All right.
When Ayrton's done, Larry, are you going to be able to monologue for a minute, long enough for me to step away?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead and finish up, Ayrton.
Okay. as I was saying, it's fine. Like at first, in East of West, it was kind of cool. X-Men, it was getting kind of boring. I read his run of Fantastic Four like 2 months ago because I was bored and wanted to reread it. And then with this, it just kind of like, okay, dude, come up with something else at this point, right? No one else agrees with that.
I mean,
To be
I
to
don't.
be fair, well, hold on, I'll go first. To be fair, this is probably one of the first iterations of that. I mean, East of West was the precursor to this, but it didn't have anywhere near the symbolism that this does. This is his first foray into doing this, which you see come into full effect in X-Men. And it kind of goes back to what I said when we were talking about God is Dead. A lot of writers, a lot of creators, even Alex Ross is an artist, they have a story that they want to tell. They have a gimmick that they want to use, and they're going to try and use it until it works. Sometimes it works better than others. Sometimes it works, but it's not as good as it could be. Here it works really, really well, and I feel like this is one of the few examples of when the precursor to something works better than the final adaptation of it.
Yeah.
Because I think that Hickman did this here, and he thought that this would be wonderful to use in the X-Men. However, the X-Men already have enough mystery and intrigue behind them that you don't need to dossier it up with all the extra, like, bits. That's just my
And
2
the
cents
extra
on that.
bits just make the X-Men boring. All right, so Ayrton,
Well, to be fair, his 24 issues that he did was interesting and good enough. It was once it branched out from there, it became dog shit.
all right. So, you have any other high concept stuff for this high concept story?
No, not at all.
So,
That's it.
what I like about it is the art sets the tone really well, the themes and all that. The art's really good for a noir horror. The things are realistic looking, except for when they don't need to be realistic, and they don't need to be realistic when they're scary and grotesque. It's your classic occultic story, beyond just being a noir detective story. It's a story about one character going through a process of initiation, and it's paid for by sacrifices. 2 people were sacrificed so that he could gain his treasure at the end of the story. So it's all has a nice little ideological ribbon and framework, which I appreciated a great deal. I really kind of liked the fact that they set up some really great mysteries for the end of the book, which Church is going to be talking about a whole bunch as to his thoughts about how great this book is all the wonderful stuff that it's left at the end. But I like the idea of communist wizards and American wizards crashing the economy together, and it would be really interesting to see if there's actually an ending for that idea, as opposed to just a setup for stuff.
It did feel like he was channeling his inner Alex Jones at bits, didn't it?
Well, yeah. I also really liked the use of standard tropes about class in there, and how this was fundamentally a story about class and how people who were in the aristocracy back when the aristocracy was driven by blood and soil and getting your treasure from the earth versus a modern aristocracy that's basically living off of the wealth from people who've actually had to make the sausage, so to speak. I really liked those elements of the story as well a great deal. The thing that kind of got me was when the old man took Mr. Dumas into the Federal Reserve, which was kind of fascinating because it was like playing into the whole Ron Paul thing, which I thought was kind of great.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. That was probably my favorite part, is that Satan is basically below the Federal Reserve.
Well, no, the Federal Reserve is one of the many gateways to get to Mammon.
Yeah.
But what it is, like in that particular occult framework of story, you never offer a second payment when you're at the devil's doorstep, because that means you're going to die.
Oh no, you
Or
absolutely.
or do you always offer a second payment?
No. It's both is the answer. You shouldn't.
You should.
should not. But any character that is smart enough to get down there absolutely feels the instinctual drive too, because you want to know more. And I know this from personal experience. Again, World of
You
Darkness
sold your soul to the devil?
No. In the Geist game line, you can travel to the underworld, and there is a library that is basically all the libraries of history, all the great repositories of lost lore, because anything lost is down there. And you can't copy, but you can bribe. You know, you can go down there and read, and if it's in your mind, you know it. And as a player, other players had to drag me out because I was getting stuck, being like, "But we can find out all the secrets, man." It's instinctual. Even if you know better, you don't know better.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it my turn? Do I get to go now?
I haven't fully wrapped it, but
Okay, go ahead.
what's interesting in contrast to God is Dead, where you were talking about how they were being very generic with the gods to try to make it more appealable to a broad audience.
Right.
This wasn't generic, and because it wasn't generic, it could appeal to a broader audience.
Real quick, let me extrapolate on something there. Some of the gods should have been like malformed, like a beast. There should have been like wild gods that had no sensibilities in the Aztec kingdom that would have slaughtered the sensible gods upon sight and basically taken over and been the champions of this particular Mortal Kombat. Forgive the pun. There was so many more intricate ideas that could have been used. The Norse gods are not bloodthirsty. Just because they have a hold on the 9 realms does not mean they are a war-lusting people. And that was a little bit, disingenuous, I guess is the word. The Greeks were portrayed pretty accurately. I'm not gonna lie, but we have the most. Well, let's be fair. Like the Greeks being prideful fuckheads is pretty on message, right?
Well, that is on point. That part's on point.
So church.
But
no. Let Larry finish up.
One last thing is this really reminded me of The Nine Gates, the movie with Johnny Depp, done by Roman Polanski.
You broke up there.
Very similar.
The movie with who?
This is about the Johnny Depp, done by Roman Polanski. It's a very similar aesthetic of a story, and I love that movie. Okay. So now, Church.
Rune, go ahead.
Yeah, I threw some images in there from it's not the Scarlet Gospels, although it's the summation of it. It's actually from the Clive Barker Masterpieces series, I believe. No, it's Clive Barker's got comics. Go read them. But there's interesting images.
Well, they're Hellraiser comics actually that expand upon the Hellraiser universe.
There are. But these images specifically, as presented, are superficially similar to what's going on in Monday Murders. Also, because I've seen the link, we also have to talk about that other thing about your boy Static.
We'll talk about that, but we do. But I need to be significantly more drunk. Yeah, so
you need to be more drunk, and right now we're talking about the Monday Murders.
we're having a pleasant conversation right now.
Yeah, we're having the good times before we have the sad time.
So it's my turn, right? This is where I get to go.
It is.
Yeah, it is your your show.
Church moment.
Well, I mean, it's my show, but I like to be cordial.
Go ahead, Church. You're free.
All right, let's preface this by saying.
Let's go.
let's preface this by saying, I actually really enjoyed this book. The art is on point for the story. You see here one of the first sacrifices and the mystery created to basically set the stage for the entire book. The lettering is on point. The story is magnificent. But you know what? This is the reason that I like arcs that are completed when I do a review, even if we're not reviewing the entire arc. because this is volume 1 and volume 2 of the Black Monday murders. It ends on a cliffhanger, spoiler alert, with the main character, the detective investigating all of these things, being not necessarily inducted, but joining the cult that is, the catalyst of this book. We have a bunch of financial investment bankers and elites joined together in a cult based around money and the power of Wall Street. And we find out that the god Mammon is responsible for all but one of the financial crises in this country. And that's kind of the big mystery by the time we get to the 8th issue, which is as far as the series completes. Now, this series completed in what, 2016? 18?
Mhm.
It was 16, right? So between 2013 and 2016, 3 years, we got 8 issues. And then some health issues took the artist, and, I understand that. And he dropped a spoiler during the midst of the COVID trials that said he was working on art. And this is where I discovered that Jonathan Hickman was actually ahead of schedule, because even though the artist wasn't able to work, Hickman turned in a script for all 12 issues well before the 12th issue was slotted to be released on a normal production schedule, barring artist health issues. Now, Image being a creator-owned project, obviously the title was postponed indefinitely. And this is a situation where we've got a book that may not see completion. And I fucking despise that. If you're going to tell a story, finish telling the goddamn story. Don't fucking blue ball me. I like
those Asian
endings.
massage parlors without a happy ending.
Right, like they start jerking you off, and then when you start edging, they're like, "Okay, you're done." And I'm like, "No, I'll pay more." And they're like, "No, you're just done." Wait, did I say that out loud?
I mean, I
Is
did.
Mrs. Church watching?
I didn't know that was how that worked. So
I mean, that's kind of a joke. I definitely have never been to an Asian massage parlor. I can't afford it.
No, he hasn't.
Ayrton has. I have not. I just waited outside. I'm trying to get a long-haired guitarist Asian baby so I can make my own Dragon Force and be a millionaire. But seriously, I really, really like this book. And because I really like this book, I really fucking hate the fact that it's not completed. This is one of the few situations where I'm like, this needs to finish. Like, I need the last 4 issues of this book. And they've made all kinds of claims, and people have speculation, and there's an entire, like, Reddit and Facebook group out there who are all like, oh, well, all the last 4 issues are going to be double-sided. They're back in production. Tom Croker's finishing the commissions that he took before he got sick, and then he's back on the Black Monday murders. But it's been almost a year since we got an art update. Now, the scripts are finished, and that makes me wonder, is it kind of selfish of an artist to not pass the project off?
So, are you saying it's selfish of an artist to do multiple
I'm
campaigns
asking,
and make action figures?
well, hold on.
Instead
I'm
of releasing
posing
the art he finished.
I'm posing the question. I'm saying, okay, and this is a different situation than what you're referencing. But I'm saying if an artist is
I'm just
unable
making a
to, well, hold
hypothetical
on.
statement.
If you'll shut the fuck up.
All right.
I'm asking the question: if an artist is sick or unable to complete a project for whatever reason, if a family member's sick, if something's going on, is it wrong, or is it the right thing to do to say, okay, well, people are invested in this, people have bought 8 issues, they need 12 issues, somebody else should finish this book? I'm not saying that the art would be as good, but Let me look. Actually, I have 3 co-hosts. One of you figure out who does the art for Criminal, please. I think that artist would be well suited to finish this book. It wouldn't be as good art. I'm not saying that guy can mimic Tom Croker's style, but I think that the feel of the Criminal books, you've all been exposed to those books. I know Ayrton has.
Sean Phillips is the illustrator.
Yeah, I was just pulling that up actually.
But you've all been exposed to these books, even if you haven't read them in detail, right?
Yeah.
So I know Ayrton's read at least a couple of them because we've reviewed them.
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But that's the same kind of genre, because this is definitely a crime noir book, and this is right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I fucking love this shit. Everything about this book was masterful to me. This is probably my favorite indie comic of all time.
That is some high praise.
It's not fucking done, though. So, and I do need to preface this by saying this is my favorite indie comic put out by a large publisher. This is not my favorite indie comic on a small scale. I would argue and say that there are much better talent on the small circuit than the talent.
Cyberfrog?
No. Artists don't write. That's why I think that Earth X was better than fucking Kingdom Come, even though they were both Alex Ross's story. Can I get into that for a minute? Actually, I didn't actually get to pontificate on that last show, and I kind of hate myself for it.
Yeah.
So
Only if you explain to us in intimate detail how this relates to Secret Wars and Alan Moore.
Oh well, I can definitely do that. Now, go ahead and curse them, Ayrton, but do it under your breath.
I was gonna do another rim shot. I don't know if you guys can actually hear this.
Go ahead.
Does that come through?
Barely.
Oh, okay.
Not well enough to be a meme.
Like that?
No.
Better?
It's still really low.
All right. I'm gonna have to.
You
that later.
you don't have an area mic, I'm guessing.
It's an electric drum set.
That it's not programmed correctly then, or its input is really low.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
But anyway, Alex Ross has a story. Okay. If you've ever read Kingdom Come, you've read Alex Ross's story. He likes taking superheroes and putting them past their prime and then putting them up against their offspring. Or, telling the story of how the superheroes past their prime will band together with their offspring to take out the greater evil, I guess would be the actual story that he wants to tell. Because when you read Kingdom Come, it's very clunky. It's a good story, don't get me wrong, because he had a great editor. But it's Alex Ross's story, and then you read Earth X, and the story is just so much better layered, and the ideas in Earth X compared to Kingdom Come are similar enough that you can identify that it's the same story, but it's dressed up differently. But it's told and layered so much better because an actual writer and Mark Waid is involved. And it pains me to say that. It pains. Wait, do I have that backwards? Did Mark Waid do Earth X? I'm not looking at the books in front of me.
Hold on. I'll look it up.
No, I got it. Oh, okay. Earth X and then Kingdom Come. I want to validate my own points here. All right. Well, I better put DC Comic because Kingdom Come has a lot of results on Google. All right. Kingdom Come. Load. Why is Wikipedia so slow? Did you guys not donate to Wikipedia?
No, not at all.
Okay. No, Mark Waid helped write Kingdom Come.
For money.
Alex Ross was Earth X.
Yeah, Earth X, Alex Ross wrote, and Kingdom Come, Mark Waid helped on. So I had it backwards. But the points are still there. The idea, and I do think that Earth X was more layered because of the editor, but Kingdom Come was the more straightforward story. I'm 5 shots in, by the way. So
And
forgive
Kingdom
me.
Come helped repopularize Damian Wayne for us, but he wasn't Damian then.
Right. Well,
This dinner is so much better than talking about Damian Wayne.
So that's kind of the.
Wait a minute. I have a question for you, Larry. So we've had Bat Lita, where Bruce Wayne has a untoward relationship with Barbara Gordon.
Yes.
Not because it actually happened in comics, but because Paul Dini really wants it because he's a sick weirdo.
Look, man, there's nothing wrong with having a relationship with your waifu through an author insert character.
We have Batalingus. How long till we have non-consensual bat cest?
Oof. Oof. Oof.
You oof, but you know it's coming. You know that they're gonna try.
I hate you for that.
You can hate me for being the prognosticator of truth.
But I'm a big fan of Damian Wayne because I love Super Sons as a comic book.
I will say it again, and I want someone in DC to hear me. I want them to steal the idea and use it, even if they never hire me. I want Billy Batson to kick Damian Wayne shit in as a kid. I will never be okay with Damian Wayne until he gets his fucking comeuppance.
No powers, no outfit, no nothing. Just Damian Wayne and Billy Batson scrapping in the schoolyard like little boys.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Is like Damian Wayne's got all this ninja training and all this "I'm better badass than you" bullshit.
Yeah,
going on, and
but Billy Batson got bullied, so.
Yeah, that's like Billy Batson is a kid from the street, and not just the street, like the mean streets. Okay, lived on the streets, dealt with the streets,
like Southside Chicago, yo.
He got taken into an orphanage, right? And they were loving, and he had the best surrogate dad in the world of Superman. But the fact of the matter is that he's still a basically good person, and I like to believe that even though he has been a superhero and has superpowers and can do all these super things, that if Billy Batson were to power down to human scale and were to get into its schoolyard or alleyway with Damian Wayne, that he would surprise the trained son of Batman by cheating and wrecking his shit. Because that has happened. Okay? Like, professional fighters have gone into it with people who have fought in the street, who do not fight in approved mechanisms in the ring, and have been surprised at how hard they got their ass kicked. and I can see him doing it expressly, because Billy Batson cannot let somebody stalk around and be a preppy bully to people who didn't fucking ask for it just because he's got money. Billy Batson doesn't care if Bruce Wayne's rich. Billy Batson doesn't care if Damian Wayne thinks that Bruce Wayne's money will buy him a lawyer. Billy Batson will kick your ass because you're a bad guy and Billy Batson's a good guy. And that's all you need.
I don't disagree.
But we were talking about something else far more interesting.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, Black Monday Murders, I really, really, really enjoyed this book, and I kind of hate that it's not finished. I hope that it does get finished, but I have no expectations of that. And because of that, I have to lower the grade on this book that I would actually have normally given it.
Damn, son. You're giving a Hickman book a low grade?
Well, it's not a low grade, but it's lower than I would have given it otherwise. I mean, this is still something that I think people could get a lot out of if they read, but again, it's not something that is completed. And
Yeah.
if you're okay with things ending on cliffhangers, like, then read it, obviously. But if you're a completionist and you want to know how a story ends, I would hold off on this until we get confirmation that it's being completed. Now, I will say, in that respect, I joined the Facebook group of this comics fan club where Tom Croker, frequently posts updates. And I will be keeping everyone abreast of this, and we will do a second review if this is completed of Volume 3.
What about breasts?
Fuck you.
But Church, here's the real question: how is this all Ben Shapiro's fault?
It's Ben Shapiro's fault it's not finished.
Well, it's Ben Shapiro's fault because it's based around money and being incomplete.
So are you saying...
Does that have anything to do with his ethnicity?
No, it has nothing to do with his ethnicity. It has everything to do with the fact that he can't make his wife actually aroused.
But are you saying Ben Shapiro is Mammon?
No. He is a lowly subservient of Mammon. He does not have the commanding power of Mammon. He just worships him like a little cuck. Also, his face resembles a scrotum. My scrotum, specifically.
He wants to be one of the super rich cultists, but he can't do the math.
He cannot do the math, and he also cannot handle meeting. Who's that fuckface in the alt-right? Not a big fan of his. Nick Fuentes.
Which one?
Oh,
Nick Fuentes. I like him better than Ben Shapiro, but not by much. And the only reason I like him better than Ben Shapiro.
So Ben, why don't you tell us about the USS Liberty?
Oh, hold on.
Well, you see the USS Liberty.
Hold on. Do you guys want to help me author a tweet to Ben Shapiro?
I mean, Church, you're the only right-wing influencer we should be listening to.
Correct.
But let's
at
talk
Ben
about...
Shapiro, please let us know what the thoughts.
Wait. Ask him to come on the show and review a comic
Going through your head when confronted by Nick. Hold on. I'll even tag Nick Fuentes. Nick.
Wait a minute. By Nick Fuentes, high impact sexual charisma.
Wait, Church, we should review.
He's been banned from Twitter. I'm sorry.
Church, we should review Mouse with Ben Shapiro and Novel Bro.
That actually would be fantastic.
I always wanted to read Mouse because I knew it was a very important book, but I never believed that I might be so lucky as to review it with a piece of shit.
Also,
And
come on the Gospel of Comics and review Mouse with us if you aren't a giant baby who enjoys pleasuring midget men in shady fast. Spell shady. Shady.
Shady, I think.
Oh, okay. Midget men in shady fast food.
You're gonna run out of characters.
Restaurant. Bathrooms.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Shapiro's new nickname is Tyrion Bannister.
Hold on. Get that. With love. Church.
Papa Church.
Who's your daddy?
All right.
Who is your
So,
daddy and what does he do?
by the way, if you
It's not a
weren't
Puma.
if you weren't around when this habit actually came about, anytime I get stressed out or even a little inebriated, I'll fire off a tweet to Ben Shapiro. So feel free to.
I'm surprised you're not blocked yet.
Well, I'll announce when I am, and I'll pick a new victim.
Wait a minute. Do we celebrate on that day? Like, do we need to get a cake?
I think I do need a cake. Yes.
Well,
Like Ben Shapiro
see,
blocking day?
well, see, the problem is, and I've heard him say this. I've heard him say this before. He doesn't block people on Twitter. He just mutes them. So you think you're tweeting at him, but you're actually not because he has no idea.
So wait a minute. It's not even that he has the balls to ignore people. He just covers his ears and goes la 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 la. I can't hear you.
Well, no. How he put it is muting them annoys them more because they think they're getting through to you and they think you're ignoring you, but you just don't see it. Which I kind of get that one.
I mean, this may be his belief system, but unfortunately, he's screwing with a person who has a podcast, and dozens of people will hear this joke.
Well, and it's church. Church gives no fucks.
Well, what I would say to that is everyone should quote tweet my Ben Shapiro tweet and tag Ben Shapiro. That way, if he has me muted, you'll get through.
Wait a minute. You need to @ Ben Shapiro and hashtag did you hear?
Anyway, so
get that shit trending.
What do we have to go through in the
all right
in the
list
Static Shock? We've got Static Shock, Batman's oral fixations, and He-Man.
And we have to talk about ScarJo hating her job.
I mean, understandable.
Somebody send me some links or something so I can get something on the screen for everybody.
I will get you a link.
I'll finish scrolling through issue 1 real quick. Any final thoughts on not God is Dead, Black Monday Murders?
It's good. You should read it.
It is good. Except to me, it felt like East of West on Wall Street.
East of West is better than this.
And I was going to say, I liked East of West way more than this.
East of West is a better comic book than this. However, this is a completely different genre. But it's telling almost the same story, and that's weird.
It is. And that was my first thought as I dove into it. It was like, this feels just like East of West, but less interesting. But, I also read 20-something issues of East of West in like a day and a half, and it took me several hours to get through these 8. So
let me jump into the ScarJo thing real quick because it's short. It's one of the trifle we got to. But this starts with a joke, so it's good. So ScarJo ranted off to the New York Post, as she does every couple of years, about how she did not appreciate the hypersexualization of Black Widow in Iron Man 2, right? Like she did the job of being the Black Widow for the better part of a decade.
Where's the joke?
The joke is that somebody commenting on this, right, said, I'm going to go off and say that she's been influenced by her Hollywood peers and is now enlightened from her old ways. But when they wrote the word peers, they did not write peer as in peerage, like I'm your peer, you're my peer, we're peers. They wrote piers as in the wooden and concrete constructions onto which ships are tied. And I said, yeah, you got to look out for that Hollywood harbor.
Giggity. So let's just back up there. Scarlett Johansson, I'm not going to accuse her of lying per se.
I mean, she does have a nice ass, though.
But here's the thing. Scarlett Johansson was actually bigger than the Marvel movies by the time Iron Man 2 rolled around. When was Lucy?
Yeah, because of her ass.
No,
she already had a bigger career.
Yeah, she legit could push movies in Japan and China through the roof just by paying.
Also, real quick, one of you guys DM Hex Allen on Twitter, and let him know that anytime he's free, he can book an appearance. He's finishing up his campaign and wants to come on. We've had him on before. He's cool people.
Right on. So here's the thing: Scarlett Johansson could have told Kevin Feige, "Hey, listen, I want to do something a little bit different, and here's why." So that's one thing. So she could always have said, "I'm not comfortable with that." But here's another thing: if she had actual beliefs about objectification of women, the commodity of sexualization of women, she's playing a Russian spy, a femme fatale, somebody who weaponizes sexuality. You could have done all sorts of great things acting with the character to showcase that, in human sense that your sex and your body is something you're so completely depersonalized from, it's just another weapon in your arsenal. Wouldn't that have made her whole romance with Bruce Banner actually credible and interesting in the Avengers movie?
I actually hated the fact that she was able to sacrifice herself because of her love for Hawkeye after the Banner arc. Like it seemed to devalue that really tremendously.
Right, but again, at that point in time, though, if I was giving notes way back in the beginning, at which point in time I would have actually made a whole lot of money, and I'd have to be hiding my docs when I come on these kind of shows. At that point in time, it would be more she's gained attachment to her humanity, and that would have allowed her to sacrifice herself for her pure love of her friend and brother Hawkeye. But ... she could have done something in her performance to have highlighted how what was being done to Black Widow was wrong, but she didn't do that because she didn't actually care.
The real problem is that she does this every couple of years.
Yeah, it's all about selling herself as a product.
Does a couple of roles, makes some money, then turns around and makes the token argument that she doesn't like this objectification. Doesn't even have the dignity to turn around and do a couple of personal films. Because in Hollywood, how you do this, how you actually do this, is you do a big budget movie that's a piece of shit, and then you do a couple of low budget films that you really care about, where you're either playing for your Oscar bait, or you actually care about the production, and it's more like, wow, why is this really good person in this movie no one's fucking heard of? It's because they want to be there. Okay? Some of my favorite actors have done massively successful, absolutely terrible movies, or at least really pedestrian movies, and you say, well, why did they do this movie? It's like paying the rent. Make no bones about it. I mean, a couple of months ago, the big subject du jour was Michael Caine in Jaws 3. He says he's never seen it, but he's seen the house that it bought.
I respect that entire position.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that I'm saying that the Marvel movies are bad, or that she was not part of the best arc of phases 1 and 2, right? It's that these were always commodities. These were always products. They were really good products. We've enjoyed the better part of a decade of excellent video game movies, but comic book movies. They were never art. They were not designed to be art. They're not great expressions, right? Just admit it. I did a movie. They had me do some TNA. It's okay.
I mean, that's not a bad approach for her to say. I think you can make arguments that there is a lot of good art in those movies, but it's kind of like
certainly.
the fruit flavoring at the inside of a Hostess fruit pie.
Right.
Well, everybody knows you need to get the chocolate pies, not the fruit pies.
Come on, son.
Or it's the chunks at the bottom of your yogurt.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The art in a comic book movie is the healthy bit, right?
But Scarlett was just making noise to say, I haven't sold out, guys. I still believe in things that I totally have strong feelings about.
Which actually brings us not to Batlingus, We'll get to it. Don't worry, guys. But brings us to Static Shock, actually, because I think it's relevant. I think that based on the Polygon article, the guys behind Static Shock are saying all the platitudes, like they honestly want to do right by the comic, right?
But they don't.
Yeah, but they don't. They want to instead pander to politics of the moment.
They want to pee on the legacy of Dwayne McDuffie.
Yeah, and part and parcel of that, because we talk about this, is it's actually a consistent behavior we've seen in multiple pieces. You come up, you say you're entering a extant work, you're going to do it justice and honor, and then you turn around and it's like, but at first I have to change up everything and make it radically different and destroy the things that you liked about it to make it new. And if you don't like it, well then fuck you. And for people who don't know, in this case, they're redoing Static Shock, but they're trying to address how do you stay optimistic and be static in a post BLM world, or the BLM generation.
You mean the Static Shock that was bullied so bad that when given a gun, he seriously considered murdering his bully in his comic book origin story? Being that positive and optimistic?
I mean, yes, but in the article, they have a page where he just straight up says that he's not that guy, that he's never been the angry guy.
You mean the guy who almost plotted murder for a guy who just did random high school bullying?
I quote, "I've never been that guy, angry, out of control. A month ago, I was just Virgil Hawkins, a regular kid with regular kid problems." It's like, you sure about that?
That's not static.
Yeah.
But let me broaden this up. I don't know if Church, you read the original Milestone comics for Static, or or Ayrton, or Rune.
I watched the cartoon as a kid.
Before you expound on this, Larry, let me just throw one thing in. Where the real hurt comes in, even for people who don't read this, because I certainly didn't read Static Shock, is that the new people are working in conjunction with people from Milestone. This is the intended revitalization of Milestone, and quote-unquote Static Shock Season 1, which is the name of the book, is one of a series of books with a Season 1 title to reintroduce Milestone heroes to a new generation.
That'll be canceled in like 4 to 6 issues.
Yeah, they won't get a Season 2.
And they'll say it was always intended to be a miniseries.
Right. But I mentioned that they are in fact working with people who should know better, who are going to take their own work and throw it on the altar.
Well, no. The people who actually were involved in creating Static weren't involved with this project because Dwayne's dead.
Right, but I'm saying people from Milestone.
Right,
people from the company who may have been there when he was there are going to throw his work on the pyre in the hopes that it will lead to other jobs later.
Yeah. So here's something. You said you watched the cartoon, Aaron. Well, Dwayne was very active in the production of the cartoon. He talked to people on the internet who were fans of the cartoon when he made it. I spent many years talking to Dwayne McDuffie on AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, wow.
Another show that he played a very large role in writing, Justice League. Another show he played a very large role in writing, Ben 10.
The original Ben 10?
But proceed.
And Alien Force.
I still hate
Alien Force is the one when he was a teenager, but basically, Dwayne McDuffie was about kids who were going through normal kid stuff, even if it was, slightly urban, tense normal kid stuff, being heroic, because that was something that's relatable to audiences. Not, listen, I have this super edgy black experience that if you try to say you relate to it and you're white, you're racist and you shouldn't buy my book. But if you don't buy my book, you're also a racist. Why is nobody buying my book?
The information I got from the article was that they're going to attribute the quote-unquote Big Bang, the Bang event where the chemical explosion transformed a bunch of people into basically mutants. but not because we different names. They're gonna compare that thematically to insert shooting event that recently occurred here. Probably
You
Floyd.
mean that that terrible comic book that Kwanzaa and Mark Waid did,
Yeah.
which is all about kids being actual terrorists?
Yeah, the one that some guy covered in Extremis, and as I read it, I was like, my God.
Isn't that kind of the same idea that they tried to pull off in Captain America, Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it didn't quite work?
It didn't quite work is kind of an asterisk because no one really knows how the streaming services work.
Well, the Flag Smasher arc is what I'm saying. Like, if it had worked, there would be memes about how evil the Flag Smashers were or how good they were, despite being the bad guys.
Here's the thing. I believe the reason that didn't work is a combination of factors, because they first wanted to make it a COVID-alike.
Well, no, they had a big plague arc written.
Then they got rid of it
before COVID,
right? And then they were like, "Well, we want to make it a 9/11 thing," but they couldn't do 9/11 because that's played out. It's not just played out in the sense that people don't care, because they do care about 9/11. But it's played out in the sense that people are tired of being preached at about it.
And nobody's actually done good art about 9/11 yet.
Yeah. Even that Nicolas Cage movie that they made in the same year is like just not good. But I want to say that they were basically jumping from crises to crises as a stand-in because they couldn't think of a believable way to present this concept that would work for this show, what they wanted to say, because what they wanted the Winter Soldier Falcon dynamic to be about was dirty cops who shoot people and Floyd again.
Oh yeah,
And
don't talk bad about St. Floyd, guys.
Yeah. Look, I think that they missed a step because they're not DC. Because what we obviously need is a very special Flash story about Saint Harambe.
Well, we kind of missed that mark, but we definitely should review Marvel Apes in his honor. And in Floyd's honor.
So yeah.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
So yeah. So let's just roll.
I gotta say, Church, that was very inappropriate.
That was.
But that timing was impeccable.
But let's slide.
I wish I could get the fucking rim shot thing going through on the soundboard, because that would have been perfect timing for that.
I joke, I kid.
I
joke.
Church, how many shots have you had now? You had 5 earlier. What are you at?
7.
Less than George Floyd.
Right.
Oh no, that wasn't me. I didn't do it.
I was gonna say, when we're talking about making merch, you should make a shirt that says 7 shots till shame.
I have no shame, actually.
I mean, the obvious T-shirt is it's relapse time.
Hold on, I'm trying this. Did it come through that time?
No,
a little bit.
God damn it!
But let's go on to He-Man, because
well, hold on. I'm not familiar with He-Man. I want to take part in something, and I have no idea what the fuck about He-Man because I've given up. I've given up on modern media and animation, but I do know something about Batlingus. It started with a Harley Quinn episode and DC reaching out to the creators of the episode saying, we can't reference Batman's sexual escapades or something of that nature, correct?
That cannot possibly be true.
Well, no, that's the first one. The second one was dumber.
Wait, what was the second one?
The second one was they issued their public statement where they said that heroes don't do that.
No,
Right.
we have to go further back. No, we have to go back.
We have to go back.
Okay. No, this starts in the mid '90s with Vertigo and Neil Gaiman.
Oh God, go ahead, Rune. Go off, King.
No.
Hold
Rune,
on,
it's
let
Friday.
him go.
It's Neil-
Let him go off,
Neil-
King.
No, it's Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, shut up, had a bit in Sandman called the Serial Killers Convention with the character known as the Corinthian, who is a child raping monster. That was supposed to be a masturbation reference. Okay, and he got word from on high from DC corporate at the time. Characters do not. And I want to be clear. Characters have been having like sex implicitly, have been in bed together explicitly in DC for decades. Characters do not masturbate in the DC universe.
That is correct. I mean,
Okay.
because I mean,
But with-
well, unless you're Zoom and then you masturbate other people to make them think that they came as soon as they took their pants.
It
Barry.
was me,
Barry.
Barry.
It was me.
But here's the thing. Neil Gaiman, because he doesn't give a shit, because he's an author and he can get work anywhere, right? Was on I want to say, History Channel show talking about the history of comics, where he talked about how Sandman won, I want to say, the New York Times, something, and they tried to retroactively take it away and couldn't do it. So what they did is they just said that comics couldn't be listed in that category because comics are not literature. And he likened it to someone winning the Kentucky Derby and then being told that their horse didn't count, right? But he used that same platform of a TV show to basically embarrass his previous employer by telling a tale of how they pretended that sex didn't happen. And this was used, juxtaposed against Wildstorm, who was not yet owned by DC, who was having Midnighter and Apollo get married, the quote-unquote first gay couple of comics, like it fucking matters. You know? So, this is a consistent behavior at DC.
Hawk and
having
Dove
dis-
were obviously the first gay couple in comics.
Who?
Hawk and Dove.
Oh, certainly. But it's a consistent thing at DC having discomfort with addressing sex as a concept, right? But then a few years later, I don't know what you guys were referring to, but I recall a few years later, Batman and Catwoman had sex on the Batmobile during the New 52, which I thought was sleazy and stupid.
And wasn't
Then.
was it actually
I mean,
before
we've all
that
been there.
Batman apparently had sex with Batgirl at some point, or was it after?
That was in the DC animated movie.
But enough people have assumed it's canon that it's a skeevy undercurrent in comics now.
Well, in the comics, wasn't it Black Canary?
He also had sex with Black Canary.
In the comics or in the movie?
No, in both.
Oh, okay.
He's banged Black Canary in both settings.
Oh, yeah,
Batman
okay.
is the Wolverine of DC Comics. He's
Look,
everyone.
Batman's actually been on panel banging more broads than Wolverine has, actually. Captain America's banged more broads on panel than Wolverine has. It's just implied that
the
Wolverine
thing here
always
is-
fucked your girl.
The thing here is as you say, Larry, apparently at some point they were told they couldn't do a thing. So Zack Snyder in comics got it done and then posted it to Twitter with a smug little caption saying, "Canon," showing Catwoman from a not just suggestive, not any kind of artistic,
It was porn. It was porn.
absolutely exploitative position.
It was
being
porn.
eaten out by Batman. It was porn in a funny book for kids. And as the person who normally is like, nah, man, comics are for older adults. Like, no, your age bracket is 15 to 20.
I mean, that's not who they're selling to.
It's not.
mean,
but the thing
and
is still
the
there is
point. The real point is dudes need to learn how to eat pussy.
Right,
No.
and there's also since this controversy fully blossomed, someone did a version of that image with Penguin eating Batman out from the other end.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
rim job.
And then the Joker behind Penguin watching.
Yeah, what is that? A mental centipede?
My point is that when I heard about this, I thought, oh, maybe it's like a silhouette, maybe it's implied. It's going to be in comics, going to be a little panel. It's okay, cool. Batman went down on Catwoman. I don't give a shit. Okay, sex is multiple acts. There's multiple stages. Okay, it's like changing the oil on your car. It's a process. I can believe that Batman is capable.
Trust me. Changing your oil on your car is way easier than getting a chick off.
Sure, but the thing is that I believe Batman to be capable in this arena.
It depends on who you are. Speak for yourself, bro.
It takes me 5 minutes to change the oil on my car.
The thing is as
takes me 2 to get your girl off.
So you guys don't look each other in the eyes while you do it, right?
No, we do.
You would.
We definitely do.
We're that good of friends, yeah.
Anyway,
it doesn't count unless your best friend's there.
My point is, as Church said, this was incredibly pornographic. It was superfluous. It served no fucking point in any narrative whatsoever, right?
Well, it does in the narrative that Zack Snyder is the world's oldest 14-year-old boy.
Incorrect. I am the world's oldest 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, well, he's a 14-year-old boy with a punchable face. Okay?
Wait, Zack Snyder or Church?
Yes.
Church. I mean, I could punch Church in the face, but I wouldn't want to. The thing is that even though I was trying to say, I believe that comics are for an older set, and we should focus in that range. There are younger readers. There is an overlap, right? Where parents, oh God, how dare I expect parents to parent? Of course they don't fucking parent, but still, parents have a say on the materials their children consume.
They do, until your parents disagree on what age you should be allowed to watch Blazing Saddles at.
Well, that's the thing. Let's talk about my weird upbringing for a minute, okay? My parents let me
the
see
sheriff's a gun.
Here's the thing. Let's talk about my weird upbringing for a minute. When I was a kid, they put Blazing Saddles on TLC, right?
Oh, that's garbage.
It was.
They censor out the fucking fart, the sound effect for the farts in the goddamn fart scene. You just see the dudes lifting the leg up.
My parents were so offended that they went out and rented Blazing Saddles and said, okay, Joe, we're going to watch this movie. Okay? They're going to say some very inappropriate things. It's okay to laugh. And I sat and I saw Blazing Saddles really early. Okay?
Oh, Lordy Lord, do what he say, do what he say.
You do that voodoo. That's you do exactly. But
wait, are we black? Okay, continue.
Candy Graham for Mongo.
Mongo like candy.
But here's the thing. On the other hand, I want to say, and I'm not Kevin Smith. I admit my memory can be wrong. But I want to say 85, 87, somewhere around there. Van Halen did Hot for Teacher. Hot for Teacher's video was on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
Hot for Teacher's video was on TV at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I came home from school. So I come home from school bright-eyed and bushy-faced to get onto MTV to watch Pauly Shore because I was that kind of kid.
Of course you were.
And I'm watching Hot for Teacher, and my parents were like, what is that bullshit? And my mom did, in fact, call up the FCC in my area and say, this does not fly on my TV.
Hot for Teacher came out in 1984.
Thank you.
It was the B-side to Little Dreamer.
Joe is that old.
I am. But that's the thing, right? Is like my parents let me watch Blazing Saddles, which has overt sex jokes and very inappropriate language.
Is it true what they say about men like you? Oh, it's true. It's true.
Luca. No, wait, well, that's a different movie.
Yeah, wrong Mel Brooks movie.
On the other hand, my parents were not okay with me saying out for teacher because they felt that there were scenes of implicit exploitation in which children were being inappropriate towards a half-naked adult, which is totally true. And even though I might not have cared, I appreciate that my parents cared enough to be outraged, right? Because they were at least paying attention to the media I consumed.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd take it to the point of calling the FCC on a music video, but I'd be like, yo, dude, you can't be watching that shit. You don't even have pubes yet. What are you doing?
Well, the thing you gotta think about is that at the same time, my parents were letting me watch Eon Flux because that was a cartoon and objectively unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know, Eon Flux with Eon half naked in, like, Bondo gear with a gun, killing wave upon wave of dudes until
don't you dox what I do on that.
Hold up. Now that would be another good review for us to do, to review the entire Aeon Flux series.
The series ain't half bad. The movie is kind of forgettable.
Well, the movie's not really related.
Also, here's the thing. Do we have to? Do we review the series, the comic, or do we review the shorts from Liquid Television?
Well, I would say you review the shorts from Liquid Television and the series.
Okay, because the shorts from Liquid Television are great. But anyway, just I feel very upset as a consumer, not even a parent, a consumer, when I envision Batman having gratuitous sex with Catwoman in a book.
So let's talk about
how do we feel about the Bat Dick?
I've never seen the Bat Dick.
That was in a comic from the Black Label series, and that was pulled very quickly by DC as well for similar reasons.
Let me clarify before we get into this. I don't mind this sort of thing on the other spectrum where it's like Marvel Max, where they have a specifically adult imprint. Because if you want to have an imprint that is basically heavy metal with Batman, and he's just going to be banging chicks and going on psychedelic adventures, more power to you. It's the fact that this was main continuity, prime time, in front of everybody.
Well, no, it's not main continuity. It's an adult cartoon.
No,
It's in its own independent continuity.
Harley Quinn doesn't even get advertised on the normal channels.
No, not the Bat Dick.
There you go. Show suggestions, Rune.
Yeah.
The scene of Catwoman getting eaten out. No, that's actually in book. That's a comic page. I've seen it.
Oh, that's the page.
So is what's show suggestions that I can't put on the YouTube.
Yeah,
but you can see if you join the Discord. Link on Twitter.
But let's talk a little bit about Star Trek and how nobody poops on Star Trek,
even though they admit they have.
They never admitted it on the show.
Yeah,
but it's in the technical manuals and stuff. But you don't need to write in your story that your characters are going to go take a poop unless they're going to take a poop is relevant for the story. Like somebody, interrupting them on their way to the toilet, and that creates a socially tense situation. So Batman has a loving relationship with Catwoman for reasons that I disagree with, but DC editorial wants that, so whatever. And Batman and Catwoman can have any kind of sex they want in that relationship. Does Batman having that sex with Catwoman...
Some Preston Poulter pegging sex?
I mean, if that's what they're into, I'm not going to judge, but does that advance the story? Does Batman enjoying a catfish sandwich, if you will? Does that advance the story? If no, then it doesn't need to be in the comic book or the TV show.
Okay. For those of us in a very specific chat, if this will even, It's not going. Damn.
Just-
I keep
just
trying to
Post it in the
get-
Discord.
No, the Discord wouldn't let me do it.
Really?
Yeah, I kept saying the file is too powerful for some reason.
Huh.
It's in the. It's in the Twitter chat that we have going on where we do all of our eldritch abominations.
Yeah. I mean, okay. That's kind of explicit, but that's really not that bad. I've read Alan Moore. I've been traumatized by Alan Moore. I'm still paying for therapy, and I'm going to be sending him the bill for that goddamn book. This is nothing.
It's nothing
thing,
to
though.
you,
I'm-
but was this put out on the X label, Larry?
That book there.
Yeah.
I don't believe that image was from the X book.
So this was
but
from
Snyder
the
says
this was
Snyder
from the
says-
Batman book.
Snyder says it's canon. It's
No,
on
no,
the
I'm not
website.
worried about the canon. I'm worried about where this was published, like what title. Because here's the thing, okay? As the father in the chat, Larry, do you have kids?
I don't.
Okay, Rune, you don't have kids.
I don't have kids, but I have a.
Ayrton, you don't have
I
kids.
do have I do have a very specific inference on this, which I'll get to after you.
I mean that's fine, but Ayrton, do you have kids?
Not that I know of.
Okay, well, as somebody that has fucking kids, sex education comes in your like sophomore and junior years of high school. When you're, 16, 17 years old, it shouldn't come from a fucking comic book. I don't give a shit whether or not Batman eats pussy in canon. I don't need to see it on the fucking printed page where my 10-year-old can go and buy this fucking book. That's what I'm getting at. Like, that's where the outrage should be coming from.
Well, see, that's the thing.
My 9-year-old can buy the baseline Batman comic book because it doesn't come with the mature audience tag. My 9-year-old can walk into a comic book shop while I'm next door buying sports cards because that's what the American dad does. He sends his kid in to buy, Pokemon cards and comic books. And if my son's going to be getting a lesson on how to eat pussy from Batman, then that's a goddamn problem in my book.
That's the thing. People are always asking me, "Hey Joe, what's your experience in comics?" I'm on a podcast about comics. The reason I say I have a very special or interesting inference on this is because I'm a pornographer. Shock and horror. I have written.
I was about to walk away and grab a beer, but continue.
I have written like 4 pornographic comics. I have written 5 or 6 commissioned adult short fictions, some of which I really feel awful about. They were vile because the person who wanted them was a sick fuck, and that's why I stopped doing it, because I couldn't take the karma of some of that shit on my soul. Okay? But, I like, we were talking about Hellraiser earlier, I like the darker stuff that makes you a little uncomfortable, so I wasn't just doing, oh, well, here's like a transformation comic with a penis. No, I was also doing like, this is a horror comic in which someone is going to be raped, dissolved, and eaten. Okay?
So you were playing Alan Moore.
Sure. I was doing, the heavy stuff, but it was for adults. It was limited release. I don't show it to my mother. Because I do it, I don't show it to her because I don't want to show my mom that sort of thing. She doesn't want to see that sort of thing. My mom wants to see me do mainstream comics I can show her, and then she can take to her friends and go, look at this, my son did this. The reason this offends me is because this is outside of its approved lines. Right? This is somehow more awful to me expressly because it is in a mainstream environment where it shouldn't be. As someone who has done worse. I find that very pertinent because
That's kind of where I'm
Church,
at.
the
Like,
kid, as,
well,
as a parent, you feel this way. On the other end of the spectrum, as a non-parent who does porn, I feel
I
like
would have,
this.
I would have been happier if they had done it on the Harley Quinn TV show because I know not to show my kids the Harley Quinn TV show. Now I know that my kid can't go into a comic book shop without me. Just sit there and sift through the entire fucking book to make sure that they're not indoctrinating my kid with this or homosexual shit or whatever else.
Perfect example. DCAU. They did that that film where Nightwing is captured by Harley Quinn, and she strips down to her underwear and climbs on top of him to quote unquote go to sleep, right? And they cut to black, and we are to believe that she just slept half naked next to him while he couldn't move. We all know what the fuck went down there.
Oh,
Okay.
come on, Mr. J. You want to take a ride on your Harley? I mean,
Exactly.
this is shit that's been around since we were kids.
Right.
I mean, I get the perspective of us being older, but if it's not as blatant as say the back dick, like is it like I understand being protective as a parent and being someone who's written vile things and being.
Are you looking at the same picture I'm looking at?
Yes, I'm looking at it, but when I was 9, I wouldn't have understood what that photo actually is.
All right, let's.
I don't have the context of like the before and the after and everything. Right, that changes it completely. This is a still image. Give me the full page before, the full page of this, and the full page after, and that might change the context of what I'm actually talking about. But this one singular image is not enough for me to sway either way whether this is good or bad. It just seems mundane to me.
Let's recontextualize this, and you answer me a serious question here, Ayrton.
Yeah.
Okay. So her eyes are rolling up in the back of her head.
Yeah.
Okay. The positionality is irrelevant because she's always been slightly showing off the boob window.
Right.
Okay. She's got her legs over her shoulders. Anyone who hasn't seen this picture, you're getting a pretty good description of what's going on. Do you honestly expect me to believe that just his chin is near her groin because he's in the middle of some kind of Brazilian jiu-jitsu pose, and she is not currently in the throes of something entirely different?
No. Again, being an adult who has been in this position numerous times, I understand this. But as a 9-year-old, what is the context immediately before and immediately after?
Like, what's leading into that and what's leading out?
Exactly. Give me more than just a still image. We can't get upset about this still image. This doesn't tell me anything.
So here's the thing.
My perspective is a little different on all this because I think, again, DC has the right to say we don't want to muddy up the Batman brand with sex and stuff. So if you want to do Batman porn on your fan fiction site, you could do that. We're not going to go after you because that means that we're trying to own Batman porn. We don't want to be about that. But we don't want that on on a licensed TV show.
But Larry, didn't you know Bugs Bunny wants Elmer's booty?
Mm-hmm. That's different.
Did you not see that animation?
I did.
Oh man.
And sorry, I'm just gonna jump in for something else real quick. When I was like, 14 or 15, going to the comic book store, I definitely found the mangas that had the big old milky anime titties in it and would flip through them. I knew they wouldn't let me buy them, but I would flip through them and look at some anime titties. So I mean, like, what are we? I understand as a company saying like, hey, don't put this in our book, but the outrage of this appearing, I feel is much different.
People are less angry about that than they are about DC Comics saying Batman doesn't eat out his girlfriend.
I mean, that's just retarded. I don't give a shit what they're saying about that.
Well, people say that's terrible because that means the DC is against women having sexual pleasure.
I mean, good, but But no, being outraged at the singular panel, I just like I see your guys' point of view, but I can't get behind either of your point of view because I don't understand the full context of this book.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. Okay, I actually do.
What the
I do, in
fuck?
fact, believe.
Holy shit! Hold on, let me go OD on some heroin to make sure I'm still alive.
Okay. I in fact do agree that we need the before and after page, right? However, I do not believe, based on the information we have, that there is a context that will make this full page spread, because this is a full page, one panel page, right? Acceptable. I don't think anything will make this acceptable, especially since we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about him, and it's not a joke. Alan Moore did sex in comic better.
Better?
Yeah,
I mean, even with the fish monster.
No, not even the fish monster. No, we're going to talk about a classic. I have read The Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Where Alec Holland's wife has sex with Swamp Thing. Okay?
Yep.
And basically has mounted him and is grinding away while driving her hands into his leafy, fleshy body. Okay? And it is juxtaposed against erotic poetry written by
I'm so hard right now.
Okay.
Jesus Christ! I just ate like 2 hours ago. Why would you say something like that?
The thing is that the comic itself, entirely self-contained, the artistic expression, and this is Vertigo, which was always an off-brand imprint, right? The sexual content is designed to express something thematic. This is not thematic. This is pornographic. I cannot imagine a theme where we are talking about something important in which Batman has to eat out the Catwoman.
Well, hold up.
Wait a minute.
When have comics talked about something important in the last 5 years?
Let me finish. And if we're going to try and infer that this is a James Bond thing, because James Bond has sex with women all the time to get information out of them, then you still fucked up, because James Bond movies did this better.
I never said this was done well. I'm just saying I want more context before I make an opinion either way on whether this is good or bad.
I'm just saying, on the premise that we do not get that context, I find this objectionable. If we get this context and it changes, I am open to changing my opinion. Larry, you had something.
Yeah, like when have comics done anything important in the storytelling they've done in the last 5 years?
Shots fired. Got him. And
now I'm sad.
I mean, you win. Show's over, folks. Larry wins the show.
Which is why we're going to go talk about cartoons now.
No, but no. I mean, James Bond, a lot of those movies, since you brought it up, are pretty explicit.
Yes.
And
those were
so
also
are
made for adults.
Well, and so are the books.
Right.
Yes.
Which were made for adults.
Folks. Yes, folks. There are books of the James Bond movies.
I'm more surprised by the fact that you can read.
The lie that Ayrton reads.
Good on capitalizing on that, Rune.
Look, Ayrton, we all know you come from the deep south.
No, Atlanta. That's not quite the deep south. It's not Toadsuck, Arkansas.
It's true. It's cleaned up since we burned it down.
Well,
not
when I was there.
Ayrton, Atlanta is the deep south. Shut the fuck up.
It's the gateway to the deep south.
I mean, my dad, when I was born, was driving.
No,
for a nightclub.
Jacksonville, Tennessee is the gateway to the deep south. Passing through Ohio is the gateway to the deep south. Atlanta, Georgia is the fucking deep south.
Look, all I know is that I want to be reincarnated as a land squid.
Settle down, Alan Moore.
If you've never seen Squid Bullies, it's absolutely hilarious.
I want to be reincarnated as Scarlett Johansson's bicycle seat.
Bicycle seat. I want to be reincarnated as her tampons. What are you talking about?
You can't
Repeat
see it,
it.
but I'm giving you a look of abject disgust.
oh, I can't see it, but I can feel it, and it makes me warm inside.
Look! A tampon is single use. A bicycle seat. A bicycle seat gets used over and over.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Look, Ayrton will be fine as long as he has 2 functional AA batteries.
Exactly.
So,
and motherfucker, those bitches have a Type-C charger. You can plug them into a wall, get an extension cord. You can hop around the whole living room on those things.
So let's, because I mean we're like a while in. I have no idea how long we've been at this.
The sun's getting real low.
Let's get into He-Man, and I have to ask you, Church, can we put Steve Buscemi back up, because we need to give context to this.
Yeah, we'll give context to that, but not to giving head to a hot voluptuous.
We cannot give context to
anti-hero.
Cannot give context to Batlingus on YouTube. They'll strike us.
Yeah.
Also,
there you go, Rick.
I mean, we have the Curse of Thick Moranis. I think now we have the Curse of Batlingus.
I think Danny Thought Vito was my favorite.
Well, did you see the Blue Thought group?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. But Danny Thought Vito, I laughed.
Danny Thought Vito was great.
I laughed for like 3 days after you posted that, showing all of my coworkers and shit.
Yeah. Again, if you're listening, people, find us images of horror with which to torture Church, in which beautiful women are not sexy, but are still sexy.
And go check out our Patreon to get a link to join our Discord server. We're going to do that YouTube shit. Smash that like button. Subscribe, comment.
Do we have a Patreon?
Technically, yes.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
Is it active? No.
I mean, if it is,
it's active. You can give me money. Yes, please give me money.
Oh, I see. I see how it is. This is give donations to Church, not like
donate to the Streamlabs down below to go to me for my Arizona iced tea and some crackers for my lunch during the week.
Yeah, but I mean,
we haven't done that in a while.
I mean, guys,
don't give these assholes money. I'm a poor cripple, and for pennies a day, you too can ensure that maybe I don't live in a third world hellhole.
If you donate, we'll send you a picture of RuneKnight to hang on your fridge. So
Exactly.
it sounds like you're donating to somebody.
Look, I mean, all that money is how Church buys the comic book for us all to read.
Hey-o! Oh, Rune, you're doing a thing with a video. So please tell me somebody screenshotted that.
Oh I'm gonna fucking full screen him here.
Oh, cool.
There we go. Let's see if I can pop this out. I think there's a pop out option, right? Yeah, there is. Fuck yeah.
In the arms
is in the eye of the tiger. No, get back on. I just shared you on the stream.
Oh, wait a minute. Did they miss it?
No, I didn't have you up. What are you doing?
Goddamn Church. Do your job.
Also, I'd like to put in, my job is making sure the stream is actually on and running, so I have done it. You fuckers are broadcasting right now, and you wouldn't be if not thanks for me.
So, There's a lot
So,
of fun
can
stuff
you
going
get
on with
the-
this He-Man story.
Yeah, let's get to the He-Man thing. Enough of me whimpering at the camera and looking poor. So here's how this goes. Once upon a time, there was a show called He-Man. It was a big toy commercial by a place called Filmation, and it was meme-worthy before memes were a thing. And it was popular, and kids liked to buy toys. And then they canceled it for about 3 seasons. And then a year later, they tried to do a new version called The New Adventures of He-Man, because why not make a new toy commercial?
And it was
it was
He-Man in space.
It was He-Man in space, and it was abysmal, and it failed. And for many decades, despite a canon movie with Frank Langella and Dolph Lundgren, He-Man was a dead property
Then
with
they had
a
that.
strong fan base
Then they had that reboot on Cartoon Network,
in 2002, and it was amazing.
and
Right.
it would have kept going, but the Lego kept selling them cheaper and cheaper garbage.
That and people claimed it was too expensive to make, which we all know is bullshit because you pay those Asians pennies.
Also,
Right.
Cartoon Network already paid for the new season. They were already willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
But somebody undercut them on the time slot.
So He-Man went fallow again until his anniversary started to approach, and they did a documentary called "The Toys That Shaped Our Lives," where they talked about He-Man, and suddenly a bunch of new mouth breathers like, "I fucking love He-Man." It's like, sure you did, kid. Sure
Also,
you did.
Also, don't forget they did the abysmal She-Ra cartoon
Right.
in the Gap.
She-Ra, and that's a different conversation we're not going to get into because that will get us off topic for hours.
Right, but the
Right.
new She-Ra cartoon was done separate from the main He-Man license,
Yes.
which was retained by Mattel, and
Yes.
Mattel wants to become the new Marvel with its own IP
Right.
farm, making movies and TV
Right.
shows.
Even though He-Man is about 3 steps of a Conan ripoff. So they said, all right, we're going to do a new Conan series. We need a showrunner. Who are we going to get? We need a comic. We need somebody with bona fides everyone will believe is a real comics and cartoons guy. And they said, hey, what about Kevin Smith? Because everybody remembers Jay and Silent Bob when he used to be funny because he shut the fuck up. Right? And as stated at the beginning of the show, Kevin Smith was on paper as not being
He actually was on
He-Man fan,
his
right?
reality show saying on camera he wasn't a He-Man fan.
Let us also remember that Kevin Smith is the guy who does not like the Jack Nicholson Batman film.
Let's
Okay?
also not forget he's the guy who cries for movie companies, movies that pay him.
Right. So, and he's the guy responsible.
It was just such a good movie. I can't believe I'm seeing
Will
all
cry
these
for money.
characters.
And he's
in
the guy
real life.
responsible. And he's
And
the guy responsible.
I can't believe Time Warner is shoving all these $100 bills up my ass right now. It feels so good. I'm just gonna cry about it.
And he's the guy responsible for turning a 5-minute prompt of an elevator pitch called Tusk into a movie because he watched the Human Centipede one weekend and said, I can do that. The thing is that they said, we're going to do we're going to, right? And then some art was leaked. It was actually stolen to be leaked of the Masters of the Universe, the secondary characters to He-Man, right? And it was a villainess named Evil Lynn, Tila, who is He-Man's sister.
No, best friend.
Best friend. And several other characters, and a redux of the mascot character Orko, now with large anime eyes and funny ears.
I will say Orko
and-
looks way better in that.
Yeah, he looks less classic. But people lost their shit, presumed that because Tila was not wearing the same stupid body.
Well, that wasn't the only thing. There was also a script leak, and there was also a teaser of the show that Kevin Smith premiered where it said Tila was going to be the main character.
Well, I'm getting to that. I didn't know there was a script leak, but
Yeah.
and if there is, where the fuck's that? We should have that. We got to do a reading. This is what we do now. The thing is that people lost their shit, said that this was the end of time because Teela has the designated haircut, right? And I was like, because I'm gonna wait to know more, right?
Also, Teela has a very specific destiny within the story confines of the Masters of the Universe.
Right.
And this isn't her story.
Well, that's the thing, is that then we find out that Kevin Smith used to say he didn't like He-Man, now he does. And his year was wrong. I actually don't care his year was wrong. Okay? I misremember shit. That happens. Okay? But I'm also not Kevin Smith. I didn't open my mouth and inject stupid without first saying my memory's not good. Right? And then the trailer dropped. The trailer has the name He-Man Revelations.
Mm.
And it presented this image that it was going to be He-Man centric and exactly what you wanted, and everybody was like sucking dick because it looks nice. But to me, who watched the 2002 reboot, it's not better. It's equivalent from a different animation company.
I would say it's better than the original Filmation in animation quality.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely head and shoulders above the Filmation quality. But then we found out after the fact, there was an article dropped that Teela was going to be the foci.
In fact,
this was the story of Teela.
In fact, when the show was announced, Kevin Smith and Netflix had the elevator pitch on Twitter where they said Teela was going to be the main character, but Kevin Smith said, no, Teela's not going to be the main character.
Right.
That's just a lie that people are making up on the internet. Not in this official document that Netflix and I released.
Right. And that's where the thing comes in, is, yet again, because we've been talking about this off and on all night, the abject, hollow, mercenary nature of how we're going to pander to current year, or rather current decade politics to get your eyeballs on seats, and then the trash level products being put out. And the worst part is I'm not mad at Kevin Smith for being a dipshit. Kevin Smith's a dipshit. We knew that. Why are we looking at Steve Buscemi? Because that's what he's doing. He's going around saying, "Greetings, fellow young people. I am one of you. Do you want to go to the skate and/or park and listen to the rock and/or roll?"
Yeah, no, Kevin's just saying the check clear.
Right. I'm pissed at the fans, the fake fucking fans, who the second they hear Bonnie Taylor are like, "Oh, this will be so good. It's going to be so good. Excited for products." It's like, yes, get excited for products. Buy products, you fucking hole. Because they don't even hide it now. They're telling you this is going to be shit and you're not going to like it. And people are getting excited about it. I plan not to watch it. If I do end up watching it, I'm not going to say where I'll end up watching it. I might end up watching it on our friend's account if a friend decides to watch it. But whatever mechanism I watch it from, I probably won't be paying for it. I mean, it's going to be on Netflix. I have a Netflix. I might even end up watching it. But if I do, I'm going to encourage my friends to come watch it with me, so I only have to watch it once. And I will never repeat watch it unless it is somehow beyond the pale good. And I do not believe that. I don't hold out for that. I think it'll be dead on arrival.
So let's talk for a moment about what they're doing with Teela here. So Teela's becoming the action heroine. What's Teela's destiny in the Masters of the Universe series?
Well, I would presume that she is in fact going to take the power of Grayskull from Prince Adam.
No, like originally, what was her original destiny in the Her mother is the sorceress, who's the guardian of the multiverse, and she is destined to become the new sorceress. And the sorceress's name is also Teela. So not only are they taking He-Man's story and giving it to Teela, they're taking away Teela's story from her and giving her a knockoff He-Man story.
See, I'm honest about this shit. I remember watching He-Man when I was a carpet grub. I remember liking it. That doesn't make me a fan, right? I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, I have all the toys. Oh, I've been collecting for years. Oh, I watch everything. I have all the DVDs. You know, it's like, no, I know this property exists. I kind of care. I'd like quality. If they said we're going to do a He-Man series, it's going to be great, I'd watch it. Right?
Mhm.
I am the kind of person that's like, I have the potential to become a new fan. Where my offense is the abject lack of quality, the insulting level of writing, where they treat me like a clod.
And this is their planned Iron Man for all the Hasbro products.
Sure.
No, it is.
No, I get that, but it's just like, yet again, it's like, did you guys not get the memo? Did you not read the lessons that Marvel put down? It's not an assembly line. You can't just pick it up and go.
Well, I mean, that's what Marvel's doing right now. Are you saying it's not working right now?
In fact, I am saying it's not working right now. They're trying to maintain momentum, but they have fucked their own process over.
And they have no direction, but yeah.
At all, yeah. It was working. It worked for 10 years, and then they magically forgot how to tie their own shoes.
You know, that's another good idea for a show. Talking about the death of the Marvel Universe. But we'll do that after Loki's finished.
I'm actually actively avoiding those sorts of conversations because I'm the kind of asshole I want to see Loki first.
I swear to God, if we have to watch Loki, I have a tree planted with some rope hanging from it.
No, Ayrton, that is unacceptable. Get that rope out of there. If you're going to kill yourself after watching Loki, you must in fact spear yourself through the hip with a wooden shaft and hang from the tree upside down for 7 days. That's how
Okay. I can dig it.
You also have to convert a friend into booze, then drink him, and then pee him back out.
Also doable.
That just sounds like church.
I volunteer tribute.
All right.
Just like, I want to die on that liquor road.
I mean, we're almost
Right.
over with the show, but I figured I'd jump back in since I don't give a shit about He-Man. Like I have no investment in it, except apparently when I was a kid, I had the Mount action figures for He-Man and Skeletor, and I had no idea that those were valuable. So I actually gave them up to a Salvation Army, and then realized they were over $100 each.
Of course you did.
Well, look. I mean, how long have we got left, Church?
We got 5 minutes.
Right, so I think it's time then for the church's minute, the sermon to close us out. So Papa, tell us about the comics.
Let us say the pimp's prayer.
Lord,
Oh, God, my hand!
Keep
it strong, Lord.
A once great idea called Salamandroid fell short and has chink eyes, and you should feel bad, Ethan Van Sciver, for charging for that piece of plastic. Secondly, just read things that came out before 2005, and you'll be okay. Read things by people who don't have social media accounts, and you'll be all right. Read things that have critical reviews from people that can structure sentences that have commas in them, and you'll be all right.
Listen to your alt-right influencer, Church of Failure. He knows what he's talking about.
I do, and as alt-right as I am, I hate Ben Shapiro, so
all right.
I can't be that alt, right?
So if we're doing the closing up, then Church, let me take the stage here real quick to actually do some business before we're getting to.
Mention next Sunday.
How dare you?
Yeah. For anyone that's actually viewing this disaster that we do once a week, anyone who's going to like and subscribe, hit that button.
Do that YouTube shit.
Yeah. Do that YouTube shit. Yeah, that one.
I am so recording a sound bumper for that. Hold on, I am pulling up the music for that right now.
Nice.
Anyways, continue.
Yes, in the weeks to come, the Gospel of Darkness is going to become more solidified. And when it happens, I believe you just said it was happening next Sunday, Church?
Yep. We're going to start officially next Sunday. Bi-weekly meetings of the Gospel of Darkness, and then
Well, after Pride Month, is it going to go to straight weekly?
no. Bi-weekly continued because my streaming orientation doesn't change based on the month.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Now I will before you go off, Rune. I will say this. As you bring this chapter of the Gospel of Darkness to a close, not that it has to be anytime soon, but as you do, you should be preparing to do either a Pathfinder or a let's say a third edition variant of a superhero.
But those are both the same thing, and they both suck.
Well, hold up. Like, if you're wanting a superhero role-playing game, then he should do Mutants and Masterminds.
No.
That's a little math intensive, but I could do that.
I don't want Mutants and Masterminds because Mutants and Mastermind is limited into the control that the GM has. Like, a good GM like Rune would be able to take it and make it his girl, but I want to be able to be a Green Lantern is really where I'm going with this.
Well, no. You want to be a Green Lantern, Mutants and Masterminds is totally what you need to be in.
Well, we can talk about it off air, but what I'm saying is we need to do a comic centric RPG after this episode of Gospel.
Because I'm the kind of person that'd be like, hey, we should do Masks or Sentinels of the Multiverse, which is an RPG now.
Hold up.
Well,
we totally need to do a Masks game.
We brought up Werewolf, we brought up Mutants and Masterminds, we brought up Masks.
That's what I was going to say. Is that in addition...
Planning session.
Yeah.
But that's off air. Anyway, just talk because we're over budget.
After the next episode of Gospel of Darkness, there's going to be a bit of downtime because I'm going to be running a Werewolf the Forsaken one-shot for this poor sucker Larry who has had the worst apocalypse game ever.
And it actually got delayed because my friend's dad died.
Which is sad. Right before Father's Day, too.
Yeah.
But we will have a very special episode of violence and cause.
I'll pour a shot of Southern Comfort out for your friend's dad this weekend, Larry.
Thank you.
I hate Southern Comfort, by the way. That was my father's favorite liquor because it mixes well with Mountain Dew.
Is that the bottle that I sent you like a year and a half ago?
Yes, and it hurt. It hurt me, but I drank it.
I told you Danielle got that as a gift, and she didn't want to drink it, and asked if I wanted it, and I said no. I'll send it to church, right?
Yep. But the thing is when remembering my dad comes about, I drink Southern Comfort, even though I hate it because that's what he would have done.
Okay. I mean, that's the big Gospel of Comics thing is Danielle will be joining us.
Well, every Father's Day, I put out a shot of Southern Comfort and a Coors Light for my my dad and grandpa who were both passed.
Which is, she texted me yesterday. She was like, "Holy shit! I was on a disc call for like 3 hours with Rune." I was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
Oh, making your character?
Yeah. She was not prepared for that.
She actually made a character. She just didn't make Alex Jones jokes.
Hey, how dare
look? If I'm just saying,
dare I be accurate?
Look, if she sent you lewds, you're required to put them in the show chat. That's all I'm saying.
She did not. I did not ask. I was a gentleman.
God damn it, Rune.
She had fun. And then signed on for me to abuse her in a game. So
it was just funny because she was like, "Holy shit!"
All right, well,
I was like, "Yep, welcome to the game."
We're over budget, so Ayrton, do your thing.
All right. Good night, everybody.
From a PC, Ayrton says, "Good night, everybody," and that.